102. The Declarative Theory of Statehood. 102.1. L'État, c'est moi. 102.1.1. Literally. 103. So why fuck somebody else's country up? Just make your own. 103.1. It's a growth market. Everyone is at it. 103.2. A veritable geopolitical gold rush. 103.3. Since 1990, they reckon there has been about 33 new ones. 103.3.1. And it is going up. 103.4. Just sit through an Olympics opening ceremony. 103.4.1. That parade never ends. 104. And they consider themselves proper countries too. 104.1. Now, what they are is mostly the runt offspring of war, rebellions, ethnic fissures finally imploding, that sort of thing. 104.1.1. Created out of little more than thin air and an inflated sense of grievance. 105. But if you had invented a do-it-yourself nation flat-pack kit, you would have been raking it in. 106. No wonder people have wanted to get in on the action. 106.1. Look at some of the names. 106.1.1. The Republic of Rose Island. 106.1.2. Libertocracy. 106.1.3. Atalantium. 106.1.4. The Kingdom of Tor Haven. 106.1.5. Nova Roma. 106.1.6. The Principality of Fredonia. 106.1.7. Frestonia. 106.1.8. Greenia. 106.1.9. Elior. Ziviland. Molossia. 106.1.10. The Republic of Kugelmugel. 106.1.11. The Principality of Vikersland. 106.1.12. The Kingdom of Romakal. 106.1.13. The Ebrosian Protectorate. 106.1.14. West Arctica. Borovinia. 106.1.15. Rathnelli. Sargeis. Co. 106.1.16. The Hutt River Nation. 106.1.17. The Province of Bunga. 106.1.18. The Duchy of Avram. 106.1.19. Rainbow Creek. United Oceania. 106.1.20. The Principality of Ponderosa. 107. The Great Republic of Rough and Ready. 107.1. Who would not want to live in the Great Republic of Rough and Ready? 107.2. That's a patriotism you want to see. 107.2.1. You might even be tempted to die for that flag. 108. Australia. They're always doing it there. 108.1. They do it more than anybody else. 108.1.1. That is where you want your DIY kit. 108.2. Maybe it's due to the blood they have. 108.2.1. Endlessly, restlessly rebellious. 108.2.2. Unquelled spirits and all that. 108.3. And all that land. 108.3.1. Wide expanses of orange land, all waiting to be filled. 108.3.1.1. What? There were people there before? Really? 108.3.1.1.1. You're so funny. 108.3.2. Low state pension? Ardent monarchist? Disgruntled farmer? Colonial reenactor? 108.3.2.1. Does not matter. Just kick up some dust and create your own. 108.3.2.2.2. And they do. 108.4. Running away from the reality of whatever shit their lives might have given them. 109. All a new utopia. 109.1. In somebody's head at least. 110. They are even making land now. 110.1. Airports perch on reclaimed guano. 110.2. Celebrity beach villas rise out of the sparkling coral blue in superficially benign petro emirates. 111. You can really do this too. 111.1. You do not have to fear seceding from wherever you happen to have your temporary or permanent allegiance. 111.1.1. Whatever woman you have planted your flag into. 111.2. Want to be king? Just throw enough dirt in the sea. 111.2.1. And you too can put a roll of tinfoil on your head and get others to call you sire. 112. You should be warned. 112.1. These things have a fast turnover, a high burnout rate. 112.2. People do not like it when someone who not a moment before was an equal suddenly takes airs and graces upon themselves. 112.3. Declares themselves all higher, mightier than everyone else. 112.3.1. It brings the critics out. 112.3.1.1. The law, the guns. 112.3.1.2. For a hobby, a pastime, that is some pretty crazy shit to be dealing with. 113. But, you know, or you should know, this is not hobby. This is everything. 114. So you have to set the thing up. 114.1, your country. 114.1.1, your land of milk and honey. 114.1.1.1, your Heimat for one. 115. If you had had a blank sheet of paper and a blank strip of land, 115.1, you might have thought more about the aesthetics of the place. 115.1.1, whether it's bare or grassy. 115.1.2, marshy or arid. 115.1.2.1, rutted scrubland under lowering skies. 115.1.2.2, or verdant pastures under the softening sun. 116. If you cannot dream when you are doing this, when can you? 116.1. If you cannot play God when you are doing this, when can you? 116.2. Play. 116.2.1. We do not play enough anymore. 116.2.2. Just think of this as all as one giant playtime. 116.2.2.1, and it will all be fine. 117. To find your playground. 117.1. Find somewhere inspiring. Find somewhere beautiful. 117.2. Find somewhere to take the breath away. 117.2.1. Find somewhere. More guns come out to play. You are going to say safe, but let's be honest here. You will start being honest now. You have to start being honest now. Stop. 117.2.2. Plenty of quixotic ideas that have gone on to greater things have had less noble beginnings than this. 118. Why can't a country start in the barely still standing shell of a one-room shack? 118.1. Everywhere needs its creation myth. 118.2. This is yours. This is yours. A hand is stuck into the rucksack and emerges with a scepter. And then a walk, a procession, begins around the walls of the room. The scepter is banged down rhythmically, regularly. Thump, thump, thump. 119. This is beating the bounds. 119.1. Your bounds. 119.2. The human equivalent of pissing on the ground if you are a wolf. 119.2.1. Territory marking. Nothing more sinister than that. 120. Halfway round completing this action, you realised, 120.1, what you were blessing into being lacked a name. 120.1.1. That could not stand. 120.2. What sort of oath of loyalty could you take? 120.3. Without something ringingly patriotic. 120.3.1. To bellow at the top of your lungs. 121. Beware nominative determinism. 121.1. You did not want to jinx yourself with a handle. 121.1.1. That foretold something bleak. 121.1.2. Or that boxed you into a future that was not of your choosing. 121.1.3. Geography is destiny, do not forget. 121.1.3.1. Napoleon, that one. 121.1.3.1.1. Clever fella. 121.2. And then, like all the best inspiration does, 121.2.1. Out of nowhere. 122. Cocaine. 122.1 cocaine, 122.2 cocaine, 122.3 cocaine, 122.4 cocaine. 123. You rolled it around your mouth for hours. 123.1. An imaginary land of luxury and idleness. 123.1.1. Sounds good, doesn't it? 123.2. A fabulous place, a fabled place. 123.2.1. Where the food falls directly into your mouth. 123.2.2. Where the honey runs through your hands, where it rains milk. 123.2.3. Where there is plenty of the easy you have always wanted. 123.2.3.1. Total self-indulgence in one handy, country-sized bundle. 124. What more could a son want from life? 124.1. You are a firstborn, fated, spoiled, pandered to. 124.2. Your mother giving you everything you wanted between the ages of 0 to 30. 124.2.1. And that makes you weak. 124.2.2. Unable to survive outside a comforting bosom. 124.3. A little prince who wants the privileges of birth to carry on forever. 124.3.1. Full-time royalty forever. 124.4. And who shall you be today? 124.4.1. Scourge of God. 124.4.2. The strong to aid, exalted be the standard. 124.4.3. Transformer of the earth. 124.4.4. Universal ruler. 124.4.5. The prince leaving Bengal lights in his wake. 124.4.6. The bay of this temporary autonomous zone. 124.4.7. The very lonely one, the one set apart. 124.4.8. Prototype martyr of the jelly baby heart. 124.4.9. King, meager king. 125. This is your kind of place. Let's build a country right here. 126. What does your newborn country need to earn some respect in the global playground? 126.1. Oh, what a rush it was, trying to work this stuff out. 126.1.1. Designing all the accoutrements your Bantustan would need. 126.2. An anthem for starters. 126.2.1. A little tune to let everyone know that you are coming. 126.2.2. It can't just be some salsa band marching time throw-off. 126.2.2.1. It has to work as a ringtone too. 126.2.2.2. Be triumphant even when it sounds tinny. 126.2.2.2.1. And addictive. 126.2.2.2.1.1. Which means repetitive. 126.2.2.2.2. You take a tip from the advertising world. 126.2.2.2.3. A four-note jingle. 126.2.2.2.3.1. Insanely catchy, memorable. 126.2.2.2.3.2. A proper earworm. 126.2.2.2.3.3. People will hear it and will not forget it. 126.2.2.2.3.4. Maybe Taylor Swift could sing it. 126.2.3. No lyrics though. 126.2.3.1. No words for footballers to stumble over before matches. 126.2.3.2. No odes to you reigning gloriously forever. 126.2.3.3. No hostages to fortune like that. 127. And then a passport. Can't be hard to make one of them. 127.1. A little notebook with some pink paper in it. 127.1.1. But why does it even have to be that? 127.1.1.1. Let's mix it up. Let's burn the rule book. 127.1.1.2. No biometric shit, no iris scanning, no barcodes, no machine readers. 127.2. Vouchers, gift cards. 127.2.1. Disposable lost leaders, guaranteed to get punters flocking in. 127.2.2. 2-for-1 entry into the country. And what the hell? You'll chuck in a chicken tikka masala too. 127.2.2.1. Can't say fairer than that, can you, ladies and gentlemen? 128. Of course you like it. 128.1. Of course, it is a stereotype. 128.1.1. Shared common humanity on a plate. 128.2. But still, everyone likes it. 128.2.1. Don't they? 129. You've got tired of apologising for it. 129.1. Other people like Balties, Vindaloos. Great. Good for them. 129.2. But why is it so hard for them to believe that you might not like that food? 129.3. You've got reconciled to the fact that you could never, still cannot digest your mother's cooking. 129.3.1. What can you do? Why are you rejecting it? Why is it rejecting you? 129.3.2. You cannot help but take it as a metaphor. 130. Instead, you sin against yourself, your heritage, your ancestry, by having steak. 130.1. Lots and lots of steak. 130.1.1. Or you used to. 130.2. The nights you did chow down on slabs of meat gleaming with marbles of fat. 130.2.1. Those were the nights you could not sleep. 130.2.2. Night sweats. 130.2.3. Meat sweats. 130.2.4. And in your restless thrashings, who did you see? 130.2.5. A god. The god. 130.2.5.1. Vishnu. 130.2.5.1.1. Smiling. Ever smiling. 130.2.5.2. As he leans over you, sticks one of his many arms into your gut. 130.2.5.3. And pulls out a lowing baby cow. 131. Happier thoughts. Happier thoughts. 132. Self-promotion. A flag. 132.1. Of course. How could you be in any way a self-respecting nascent nation without a flag? 132.1.2. You do not want to be carrying someone else's banner. 132.2. This new thing should represent the fact that this country, your country, is good and strong. 132.2.1. And will not be defined by its size. No, sir. 133. There was a morning here, early on, when the sun was shining through whatever it is you have for curtains. 133.1. An old Posac, you guess. 133.2. The sun did not do what you would expect it to. 133.2.1. Stream in like it does in the cliches. 133.3. Instead, it was focused, like someone had put a big magnifying glass in front of it. 133.3.1. And on the wall appeared an orange ball. 133.3.1.1. A synodoc. 134. And in that moment, that little patch of wall was a synodoc for what you were trying to do. 134.1. It could have been Kerala. It could have been California. 134.2. It could have been anywhere you go. 134.2.1. To feel the awe of a sunrise. 134.3. It could have been anywhere you go to dream. 135. You would have loved to have put that on the flag. 135.1. But it would have looked a bit like Japan's old flag. 135.2. And who wants to be associated with that bunch of imperial racists? 136. So what else could you use to brand your fledgling country? 136.1. What other symbol could you possibly appropriate for your own ends? 136.1.1. Paying tribute. 136.1.2. Subverting what it stands for. 136.2. What could you hijack? 136.2.1. Something you love. 136.2.2. Something you hate.
Another object now unfurls from the ceiling, obscuring the map. It is a giant Union Jack, except that it is saffron and gold and red and brown and green in hue, vibrant and alive. There is an almost childish glee on his face as it unrolls. 137. Well, why not? It is as mine as much as it is yours. 137.1. You just thought it could be 137.1.2. Spiced up a little. 137.2. It just needed a remix. 138. You loved your time under the Union Jack. 138.1. Most of your time under that flag. 138.1.1. That passport. That nationality. 138.2. You never got the sense it loved you back. 138.2.1. In quite the same way. 139. You got that sense at the airport, mostly. 139.1. When you were stopped for the 7th. 139.1.1 8th, 139.1.2 9th, 139.1.3 10th, 139.1.3.1 time in a row. 139.2. And of course they are suggesting 139.2.1. Well, I'm sorry about that. 139.2.1.1. We know you don't go in for that sort of thing. 139.2.1.2. That mid-air murdering sort of thing. 139.2.1.3. But the sad fact is that people who look a bit like you do. 139.2.2. So unfortunately. 139.2.2.1. It's so unfortunate. 139.2.3. But there you go. Can't be too careful. 140. And you thought 140.1. Fuck that. 140.2. You can be too careful. 141. You cannot walk into an airport without breaking into a sweat. 141.1, which is, so you've been told, one of the signs. 141.1.1 of a terrorist. 141.2, the steps taken to protect everyone. 141.2.1, including you. 141.2.2, end up compromising you. 141.3, so much for sophisticated profiling. 141.3.1, does it take into account 141.3.1.1 your lack of facial hair? 141.3.1.2 the puckerness of your education? 141.3.1.3 your glottal stop? 141.3.1.4 your unasked for nationality? 141.4 apparently not. 141.5 which you will let go the first time. 141.5.1 the second time. 141.5.2 the third time. 141.6 but the 10th. 141.7 then your profiling system is 141.7.1 willful. 141.7.2 bullying. 141.7.3 fucked. 142 you put it this way. 142.1 you are walking down the street, 142.1.1, and you hear someone call you Packy. 142.1.2. Don't gasp. It happens. Still happens. 142.1.2.1. Even in places where you think it does not, could not. 142.1.3. You let it go. 142.1.4. After all, you cannot be sure. 142.1.4.1. You are on your own. 142.1.4.2. You do not want the hassle. 142.1.4.3. The trouble. 142.2. Sometime later, a few days. 142.2.1. A few weeks, a few months. 142.2.2, it happens again. 142.2.3, you walk on again. 142.3, then it happens again. 142.3.1 and again. 142.3.1.1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. 142.4, and then it happens again. 143, and that 10th time you turn round. 143.1, you see who did it. 143.1.1, you go up to them, run up to them. 143.1.2, blood rushing round your system like a train. 143.1.3, and you put your face this close to theirs. 143.1.3.1, and you scream until you hit them. 143.1.3.1.1, well, they hit you. 144, and God help you, that is all it is. God help you if you are walking on your own on a dark street in a provincial town past midnight one night, and driving past you is a car filled with blokes lagered up, leering, leaning out, screaming, "Packy!" And the word hangs in the night, so harsh and audible, you think you can start to see it forming in the mist that is starting to settle on you, all around you. And God help you because you suddenly realise you are on your own out here. And if they come back, then what? You really are on your own out here. And what was that? Do you think that was the screech of tyres in the middle of a handbrake turn because one of them has realised that, hey, that one was on his own. This will be easy. We can have some fun with this. And God help you when you run, because you will start running. You will run like you have never run before, breathing in cloud and breathing out fear. Your legs are cyclone as you try to get somewhere, anywhere where you cannot be seen, cannot be found. And God help you that the door that you hammer on is unlocked, open, and you can dive inside it, slam it shut, and pull every lock in your favour, then slump down beside it, your lungs coming out of your mouth, your eyes coming out of your tears, praying to a God you don't believe in, that no one knows you are here, can find you here. 141.4.1. And God help you too when your luck does finally fail and you get hit and you hit back and someone calls the police and you get an officer who actually believes you, does not think you are the one who has been winding people up, who backs you when you press charges, gets the wheels of justice turning, and you go to court and you tell people what happened, about how you were just walking, minding your business. 144.1.1, being a citizen. 144.2, and why you can't do this without being called names, and you were hit actually, and the people, the judicial people, go out and have a bit of a think, and whatever it is they do, come back and decide that the assault, your black eyes, your fear, are only worth a fine of £150. 144.2.1, which does not even get fucking paid anyway. The crown goes up in the air against a wall, bends out of shape. 145. You cannot ever forget being there was a test of endurance. 145.1. And you cannot ever forget that it was testing. 145.1.1. Double, triple, 100-fold. 145.2. For everyone who came before you. 145.3. The first generation. 145.3.1. The frontier. Being on the edge. 145.3.1.1. That is always a crisis. 146. And the burden of expectations that was on them. 146.1. Making something of themselves. 146.2. Otherwise, why had they bothered moving? 146. There should always be a purpose to adventure. 147. And the burden of fitting in. 147.1. In a land of surprises, they, 147.1.1, you, 147.1.2, could not afford to be more surprising, 147.1.3, than they, your colour, already made you. 148. You landed in the mother country expecting 148.1, not milk and honey, 148.2, but maybe tea and sympathy. 148.3, instead, beer, bronchitis, and beatings. 149. And then the burden of choice. 149.1. At some point, a choice is always placed in front of you. 149.2. The choice. 149.3. The choice your hosts always place in front of all guests. 149.3.1. Which master do you serve? 149.4. When it comes to countries. 149.4.1. You cannot split your loyalty. Share your loyalty. 149.4.2. You can have two football teams, have two lovers. 149.4.2.1. But you cannot have two nations. 149.4.2.2. You can never love two countries. 149.4.2.2.1. Especially when your skin colour sticks out. 149.5. And so you are asked. 149.5.1. In pubs, in offices, in interrogation cells. 149.5.1.1. Which master do you serve? 149.5.1.1.1. The one you say you do on the passport we gave you? 149.5.1.1.2. Or the one your skin colour tells us you do? 150. You never get the answer right. 150.1. You never pass the exam. 151. Difference is more difficult to police than homogeneity, they say. 151.1. We've tried to let it flourish, they say. 151.1.1. They actively promoted it, in fact. 151.2. Let you have your cultures and your relative norms, they say. 151.3. Your ways of speaking, your clothes, your funny sounding music, funny smelling food. 151.3.1. And we've danced to it, worn it, eaten it. 151.4. We've fucked some of you and enjoyed it. 152. But now we're in peril, they say. 152.1. Because of what you believe. 152.1.1. The words from your panoply of many-headed, many-armed gods. 152.1.2. Your warmongering jihadi god too. 152.2. And so all the funny-looking, funny-tasting stuff we enjoyed. 152.2.1. Those luscious dark bodies we enjoyed. 152.3. These are all threats to us now, they say. 153. We don't understand you. How could we? 153.1. You're not like us. You were never like us. 153.1.1. You will never be like us. 153.2. So even if you say, you plead, you beg, you tell us, until the voice you use to call your fellows to prayer is as cracked and dry as one of your deserts, that you're loyal to us. 153.2.1. We won't believe you. 153.2.2. We can't believe you. 153.2.3. We know you're not. 153.2.4. Deep down, we know you're not. 153.2.5. You can never be. 153.2.6. You weren't when we ruled your lands. 153.2.7. You forced us out, remember? 153.2.7.1. We remember all right. We don't forget. 153.2.7.2. And we know you've not changed. 154. You understand why they think like that. 154.1. Still, the imperial mentality, the conquering mentality. 154.2. How long it takes to never die. 154.3. Made so much of the world red, white and blue. 154.3.1. They assume that is how the rest of the world thinks too. 154.4. Cannot begin to comprehend that they are not in danger of being taken overrun. 155. You, we, are here because you invited us. 155.1. For better or worse, landing on our shores made us into a people. 155.2. Made us a part of you at the same time. 155.3. Darker, but still apart. 156. And the burden of fitting in. 156.1. The efforts to fit in. 156.2. Not correcting people when they did not get your name right. 156.2.1. Again and again and again. 156.3. You were polite, so you would fit in. And you did fit in. 156.4, but at the same time, you did not. 156.5, you conformed and carried on. 156.6, you hid in full view. 157, but that isn't enough, they said. 157.1, but how much more effort can you make? 157.2, more effort to hide the black feelings. 157.2.1, the white feelings. 157.3, the bile. 157.4, the contortions of thought, the hatred that started to well up in you. 157.5, the idea that death will be better than this. 157.5.1, that murdering your way to heaven is the only way to stop the pain now. 157.5.1.1, the pain forever. 158, the crown is off, gloves off, not today. 159, you had assumed it had got better. 159.1, and it had got better. 159.2 in some places, some of the time. 160, but the assumptions, always the assumptions. 160.1, no, you are from here. 160.2, no, you were born here. 160.3, no, you have not been. 160.3.1, sure, maybe, why not, no plans. 160.4, no, you are not all friends. 160.5, no, you do not all know each other. 160.6, no, you are not an accountant. 160.7, no, you are not a doctor. 160.8, no, you are not a lawyer. 160.9, no, you do not work in a corner shop. 160.9.1, and your parents do not either. 160.10, and no, you do not like Bollywood and you fucking hate curry. 161. Someone once told you there was a magic ratio. 160.1.1, 2 to 1. 161.1.1, 2 of you to 1 of someone different. 161.2, no one wants to be too outnumbered. 161.2.1, if people feel they are on the wrong side of the ratio, they will move somewhere new. 161.2.2, the ratio will stay just about the same, so they are not, 161.2.2.1, being racist. 161.2.3, they are being tolerant, rational, self-interested. 161.2.2.2, self-segregating. 162, some codes will always remain uncrackable. 162.1, some doors always closed. 162.2, you cannot pick up a nationality just like that. 162.2.1, you just cannot. 162.2.2, speaking English like an Englishman. 162.2.2.1, better than the English. 162.2.3, did you think that would be enough? 163, after a while you get tired. 163.1, tired of the looks, open and not so. 163.2, the comments just about loud enough. 163.2.1, that you can catch the tail end of them drifting away. 163.3, tired of having to shave all the time. 163.3.1, in case anyone thinks that your beard, 163.3.1.1, is just that bit too long. 163.3.1.1.1, as if anyone could be bothered to unpick the differences between someone with religion and someone without. 163.3.1.1.2, we are all the same, just one big mass of darkies coming to build our minarets, put your women in burqas, then blow you up. 164. So when a country, which in its own imagination, 164.1, is one of the most tolerant places on the planet, 164.2, turns out to be less tolerant than its imaginings, 164.3, where do you go? 164.4, if you cannot hide in a city, a metropolis which has evolved to absorb every colour and every creed and colour, 166.4.1, where do you go? 165. And if you are not at home in the place you were born, 165.1, and you cannot go back to the place your parents came from, 165.1.1, as you did not come from there. 165.2, where do you go? 166, your imagined country. 166.1, did you think it would be enough? 166.2, of course this is an imagined country. 166.2.1, every country is imaginary. 166.2.1.1, collective fallacies in a sea of flags. 167, you have done everything to try and fit in. 167.1, speak the language, not your parents. 167.2, eat the food, not your parents. 167.3, supported the fucking cricket team. 167.3.1, and all for what? 167.4, when something happens, when some moment of pressure arrives, someone. 167.4.1, lots of someones. 167.5, turn around and say. 167.5.1, where do you come from? We don't ask it idly. We only ask it of people who we think won't provide a satisfactory answer. Do you really think a passport matters? Do you really think being born here matters? Do you really think it's that easy to belong? Do you think 300 years of ownership provided us with any duty of care? 168. No, not care. 168.1. Only control. 168.2. The majority must have its way. 168.3. You must fit in with its ways. 168.4. And still it is not enough. 169. Your state is not enough. 170. There are no minorities in your state. 170.1. There are no majorities in your state. 170.1.1. Therefore, there is no misfortune in your state. 170.1.1.1. And you will march into your rightful place alongside destiny. Stop. We are invading your country. We are invading your country. It is too late for you. We are invading your country. Leave nothing. Leave everything. Take nothing. Stop. 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 171. You get it. You are out of time. 171.1. Game over. 172. Your parents chose pain then. 172.1. You choose pain now. 172.2. You choose freedom. 172.2.1. You choose the freedom to escape easy categorization. 172.2.2. To escape the stereotyping that others make of you. 172.3. You choose to reinvent yourself. 172.3.1. As something that you know you could never be. 173. You will not have being foreign thrust upon you. 173.1. You are going to embrace it yourself. 173.2. This grass, this land, this grass, this land. This grass, this land you have made for yourself isn't greener, could never be greener. 173.2.1. But it is yours for now. A shell lands, an explosion expands, an impassive response, unfazed. 174. You never had much patience with people who asked. 174.1. Where are you from? 174.2. Because when somebody asks you that, 174.2.1, you know they will not accept the answer. Here. 174.2.2. It can never be here for people who ask that question. 174.2.3. They will keep tracing it back and back and back. 174.2.4 until there is a reason to exclude you. 175. But here is the truth. 175.1. You are a mongrel nation. 175.1.1. We are a mongrel nation. 175.2. A bunch of Germans and Spaniards and Danes and Celts and Gauls rattling around in a pot. 175.2.1. What's a few more colours thrown in to spice things up? 176. Yes, the island story's proud. 176.1. Perch with back turned, all defiant on somebody else's shore. 176.2. Daring them to come in. 176.2.1. And for 1,000 years or more, the jewel has been protected. 176.3. But remember, invasion free does not mean purity. 176.3.1. The acorn of their family was planted somewhere else. 176.3.2. They just happened to fall here, sprout here, bed in here. 176.3.2.1. And then they tore down the oak to make the fence to try and keep your tribe out. 176.3.2.2. Even though their father's 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 father was a black-skinned ghost too. 177. We are all from somewhere else. 177.1. Some people just hide it better than others. 178. You were not searching for a utopia. 178.1. Just a place you fit. 178.2. But you did become a king. 179. And soon you will not have to worry about the hallucinations anymore. 179.1. Seeing skeletons. 179.2. Whiter than toothpaste white. 179.2.1. Rising out of the ground. 179.3. But before they really start to come after you, 179.3.1, they stop and clean themselves off. 179.3.2. They make sure all the soil and the dirt. 179.3.2.1. All the black and the brown. 179.3.3. Are wiped off their bones before they start coming for you. 180. You are pleased to matter. 180.1. Matter to something. 180.2. Even if it does not exist. 180.3. Even if it never did. 181. You are not an island. 181.1. You are an empire. 181.2. You are an empire, or you are nothing. 181.3. Within your own borders, you shall be accepted for who you are. 182. It is not about megalomania. It is about survival. 183. Your reality is a dream. This reality is a dream. Everyone's reality is a dream. So why not make those dreams crazy, wondrous, unique, superlative, awe-inspiring, jaw-dropping, impossible? Why not dream of something you really want to be real? How else do you find out what is true? 184. You have got to stop lying to yourself. 184.1. No crown but truth. 185. You never understood why you would fight. 185.1. Die. 185.1.1. To defend a place. 185.2. Sing songs, improvise weapons, crawl through sewers. 185.2.1. It is just some streets, is it not? 185.2.1.1. If they want them that badly, they can have them. 186. Now you get it. 187. You are without the country you started in. You will finish in the country you started. 188. And you will pick up a shovel to start digging your own green and pleasant land. 188.1. Nations are not lucky collections of soil and flesh blessed by a smiling God. 188.1.1. They are as much an invention as the wheel, as jelly beans. 188.1.2. Confection, an 18th century accident invented by press barons and generals. 189. And if you are waiting for a moral, do not. You wish you could say that all of this has been driven by something higher, something profound, a thirst for power, an even more rampaging ego. Here, now, cornered. You can finally see that you have been lying to yourself. What has been driving you on has been nothing noble. It has been vanity. Venal vanity. Vicious vanity. 190. Step outside yourself. Make a new story, a better one. 190.1. What matters is what works. 190.2. What counts is what survives. 190.3. And what changes is everything. 191. You did not create this to light a path for others, or build a shining city on a hill, to be a guideland. You did it so that you could feel you were the hero of your own story, that people would look at you once, then more than once, if you had a crown on your head. And they did. But you did not realise that people would want to rip it off, this glittering affirmation of who you are, from the top of your head. Vanity is not useless. It has made you what you are, the hollow wreck that you are. You forgot that this place should have stayed a no place, should have stayed a crazy idea on a train. Metaphysics versus geography, and you lost. You forgot that people are protective of what they have, that they rarely like unannounced strangers turning up in their midst and turning one of their back gardens into a personal Zion. You forgot that the better argument rarely wins out against the better gun. Or any gun. It is only because you are not welcome there that you are here. 192. And if you are waiting for a moral, do not. 192.1. And if you are waiting for a moral, do not. 192.1.1. And if you are waiting for a moral, do not. 193. All the sun and the cool kids are next door. They always will be. 193.1. You will hold on to no memories. 193.1.1. Except one. 193.1.2. That all dreams should end suddenly. 193.1.3. The best ones always do. In a small room, a border of masking tape, a demarcation down the middle, the litter of a temporary kingdom, a mattress, a desk, a TV, a lamp, a rucksack. Stretched out, a body, blue torso and yellow legs, bandaged in combat trousers and vest, desert boots, no crown. He lies, the head resting bloody. Alarm clock gunfire and explosive sunset don't scramble him awake. Good riddance, tramper. Here's a loudhailer with your leaving papers. We have invaded your country. Stop.